Sanctioned by the US, EU, UK, and Ukrainian governments, Alisher Usmanov started his oligarch journey from jail to making plastic bags to becoming one of the richest Russian oligarchs. By March 2025, Usmanov had an estimated net worth of $16.7 billion and was ranked number 124 among the world's wealthiest people. But what is so fascinating about Alisher Usmanov, especially when he is not the only oligarch in Russia? Hello, and welcome again to the Queen Luxus podcast. Geopolitical Queen here, with today's episode on Alisher Usmanov, a self-made modern oligarch who leveraged strategic investments to build a global empire, blending substantial wealth with high-profile roles. So who is Alisher Usmanov? Firstly, he was the richest man in Russia in 2014 and the richest self-made Muslim billionaire from Russia. Secondly, he's a brilliant investor with a perfect nose for business investments. A philanthropist and a passionate dancer in his own right, Usmanov was born on September 9, 1953 in Chust, Uzbek SSR. Chust is a spa city in Uzbekistan. As the map of Bubasta's town will show us, like most people in Uzbekistan, he is a Muslim who grew up in Tashkent, the capital and largest city of Uzbekistan, located in northeastern Uzbekistan, near the border with Kazakhstan. His father was a state prosecutor. After his high school education, he attended the Moscow Institute of International Relations, which happened to be one of the best universities in Russia at that time. He studied law and later earned a PhD in social sciences. Upon graduation, he returned to Uzbekistan, where he was appointed director of Foreign Economic Association. He got involved in a fraud and embezzlement scandal, which got him sentenced to 8 years in jail in the 1980s. After spending 6 years in jail fighting his innocence, he finally got released. The conviction was later overturned. In 2000, he was eventually rehabilitated by the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan, which ruled that the case against him was trumped up and no crime had been committed.
He was released after signing a confession. In later years, he had to defend his reputation against these allegations to Navalny, the Russian social activist.
Ты врешь, что я преступник, и пытаюсь скрыть, что я сидел в тюрьме. Начнем с этого. Мне скрывать нечего. Я 6 лет, в отличие от тебя, отсидел в тюрьме, и причем по реально сфабрикованному делу. О краже социалистической собственности, которую я не крал, а о взятке, которую я никому не давал в очередной раз. Ты сказал, что я сидел за изнасилование. То есть, вот этой манипуляцией статьями и словами ты тут же хотел стереть грань между человеком и нелюдем. Ты на всех углах кричишь, что тебя сильно преследуют. Жестокая власть. Ой, какая она жестокая. Аж целые сутки просидел в тюрьме. 1 ночь, насколько я слышал. То есть, вот при такой жестокой власти ты провел в тюрьме 1 ночь, а я при мягкой власти ни за что 6 лет.
After this jail term experience, he became a capitalist. He started a company that produced plastic bags with the brand name Plastic Max, which became a status symbol in post-communist Russia. This was the birth of his wealth. Usmanov's real wealth was made after the collapse of the Soviet Union, through metals, mining operations, and investments. He is a shareholder of 49% of Metallo Invest, a Russian industrial conglomerate, which consolidated in 2006 JSC Metallo Invest's assets, Mikhailovsky Gok and Ural Steel, with those of Gazmetal JSC, Lebedynsky Gok, and the Oskol electrometallurgical plant. He owns the Kommersant Publishing House. He is also a co-owner of Russia's second-largest mobile telephone operator, Megafon, and co-owner of Udokan Copper, which develops one of the largest copper deposits in the world. Usmanov eventually teamed up with Yuri Milner and became the largest investor of Digital Sky Technologies, DST. On 16 September 2010, DST changed its name to Mail.ru Group. He also holds shares of a number of international technology companies. He was the president of the Fédération Internationale d'Escrime, the international governing body of the sport of fencing, from 2008 until 2022, and again from 2024. He is also a huge investor as far as the technology space goes. You name the brand, and he has the exposure, be it Facebook, Twitter, Apple, or Alibaba. He owns 29% shareholder stakes from the Arsenal Football Club in the UK, and also owns shares in Apple Facebook, where he indicated that he made 500% returns on Alibaba. He went further to engage with Gazprom Invest Holdings. Gazprom is Russia's largest state-owned oil and gas company. Further, he made a series of smart moves to diversify his metal empire into mobile phones, internet social media, and the likes. On 4 December 2014, Usmanov paid $4.8 million for Dr. James Watson's Nobel Prize medal in physiology or medicine, which was
One of the richest men in Russia has bought the Nobel Prize that was received in 1962 by James Watson, an American and one of the discoverers of DNA. The billionaire paid almost $4.8 million for the medal.
Made of the double helix.
Dr. James Watson's office at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory is filled with mementos of his world-changing breakthrough. Watson, with Francis Crick, discovered the structure of DNA, a double helix, the building block of life. James Watson's one of the greatest biologists in the history of mankind, and his award for the discovery of DNA structure must belong to him.
My reaction was sort of first, it's too good to be true.
This is the first time in the history of the Nobel Prize that the medal's been sold by a living recipient.
At Christie's in New York City, Watson was selling his prize to raise money to support scientific research. After auction fees, Watson received $4.1 million. Usmanov subsequently returned the medal to Watson, stating, "In my opinion, a situation in which an outstanding scientist sells a medal recognizing his achievements is unacceptable. Watson's work contributed to cancer research, the illness from which my father died. It is important for me that the money that I spend on this medal will go to supporting scientific research, and the medal will stay with the person who deserved it." This was the first time in the history of mankind that Nobel Prize medals were being sold by a living recipient. On 28 February 2022, in reaction to the Russian special military operation in Ukraine, the European Union blacklisted Usmanov, imposing an EU-wide travel ban on him and freezing all his assets. On the 3rd of March, the United States imposed similar sanctions on him, with some exceptions for his companies. Usmanov was named in the official journal of the European Union, the publication of records of the EU, as a pro-Kremlin oligarch with particularly close ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is one of Vladimir Putin's favorite oligarchs. In March 2024, Swedish economist and former government advisor Anders Åslund removed his post on X, where he called the billionaire one of Putin's favorite oligarchs, after being approached by Usmanov's lawyers. This post was used by the council as justification for the sanctions. Usmanov denied these allegations and filed an appeal in the European Court of Justice in an attempt to lift the sanctions. On 7 February 2024, the appeal was dismissed. However, the EU Council dropped the term oligarch from Usmanov's sanctions reasoning. It now reads a leading business person. He married Irina Wiener, a successful gymnast coach, in 1992. Alisher Usmanov exemplifies the modern oligarch. a self-made magnate, post-Soviet collapse, who leveraged strategic investments to build a global empire, blending substantial wealth with high-profile roles, especially in fencing, and extensive philanthropy. However, his close ties to the Kremlin have led to sweeping Western sanctions. Despite this, his influence still endures, as demonstrated by his continued re-election in sport governance and efforts to appeal sanctions. So here you have it, folks. If you enjoyed listening to Alisher Usmanov's journey from jail to oligarchy, then kindly leave your comments in the comments section below, and thanks for tuning in. I will be back with the next broadcast. Good day.